So you might
Yes.
explain for those that don't know what an ETF is, and then
Mhm.
do you get involved with the ETFs as well? As in, because, or do you keep it yourself and just invest yourself? Because basically, it's like an exchange that, like say Vanguard or BlackRock or something, they control it. So, is it something that you get involved, or talk
I
to
talk
your?
about it in the program. The reason I talk about the program because the ETFs have such a massive impact on the cycles and bull run. So first of all, for your listeners, it's ironic, and I'm going to just back up a little bit. So the whole point of crypto, when 2009, when they released Bitcoin, and Bitcoin was originally released to be a substitute for fiat. Fiat is a fancy word for your currency. So whether it's the British pound, the US dollar, the Canadian dollar, whatever, the yen, the fiat is just basically fiat just represents currency. And originally in Bitcoin 2009, they thought, okay, we want to release a decentralized model of money because all money right now is centralized, right? So the concept of centralization means one government, one bank controls things, right? A decentralized means no one controls anything. But the irony of it all, 15 years later, as Bitcoin has now erupted and is almost, globally understood to be digital gold. The paradox of it all, it's now being bought up by institutions and now becoming centralized. So I find that funny. It's ironic. It does not really pertinent. I just wanted to add that because it's kind of funny. People who bought in Bitcoin when it first started are what are called crypto enthusiasts, and they're basically really believes in this decentralized model. But what allowed the value of their investment to skyrocket is because centralized companies are now buying the heck out of it, right? So let me explain. So an ETF is basically a big corporation in America that buys Bitcoin and allows the average American to buy Bitcoin through their holdings, okay, without having to engage online. So before an ETF, if somebody wanted to buy Bitcoin, they have to go online and open up what's called a centralized exchange or use a hot wallet and a decentralized exchange, move money somehow from the real world into the crypto world and buy. It's very complex or can be daunting for somebody who doesn't know much about crypto. However, when the ETF is announced and allowed, the average American can walk into can walk into the bank or whatever their institution or online and actually buy a piece of Bitcoin where they're actually own it. Now they're own it, but it's being held by the institution. So this ETF business has massively changed and affected the cycle of crypto investing. So, as some of your listeners might be familiar with, crypto runs in cycles. They talk about a 4-year cycle and they talk about a halving. I've covered the halving before in the first podcast. It's not really important. Just understand this. Investing in crypto is like investing in the stock market. It's very similar.